Now comes message number 9, titled Top Priority. In this message, Dr. Osborn will share the aspect of soul winning which he says is too often interpreted negatively. Christian believers are often made to feel threatened and guilt-stricken by this issue, whereas Mr. Osborn believes they should be inspired and shown how they can experience the greatest personal fulfillment when they understand this in a positive way. As you listen, Mr. Osborn encourages you to let go of religious condemnation and reach out toward the sunrise of a new experience and of new adventure in real Jesus living. Now here he is with his exciting message on Top Priority, in which he shares the 6th of 7 reasons why he and Daisy believe in the ministry of soul winning.
Daisy and I are soul winners because we don't want the blood of the unconverted on our hands. As a young Christian, one of the Bible portions which impressed me was Ezekiel chapter 3, verses 17 to 20. God specifically speaks to his servants about the purpose of sharing his message with people so that they can be blessed. Here are some of his words. I have made you a watcher. Give warning from me. When I say to the wicked, you shall surely die, and you give no warning to save lives, the wicked shall die in their iniquity, but their blood will I require at your hand. Then again, in Ezekiel chapter 33, verse 6, God repeats this message. He says it like this, If the watcher sees the sword come, and blows not the trumpet, and the people are not warned, if the sword comes and takes any person from among them, they are taken away in their iniquity, but their blood will I require at the watcher's hand. Then in Ezekiel chapter 33, verse 8, the same idea is re-emphasized. Here are 3 witnesses to let us know that we can do something about the unconverted that will cause them to be saved instead of being lost. I'm a great believer in applying scriptures in a personal, practical way. Let's read one of these verses made applicable to the soul winner or to the Christian in a practical manner today. I have made you a watcher. Therefore, hear the word at my mouth and give warning from me. When I say to sinners, you shall surely die, and you give them no warning, nor speak to warn them of their sinful ways, to save their lives, the same sinners shall die in their iniquities, but their blood will I require at your hand. Yet, if you warn sinners, and they turn not from their sinfulness, nor from their sinful ways, they shall die in their iniquities, but you have delivered your soul.
This motivated my life.
Think about that statement. Their blood will I require at your hand. Each time we read these words, we review our priorities. That scripture has motivated us since we were teenagers. We do not want the blood of the unconverted required at our hands. This is another reason we're soul winners. This is why we share the gospel. This is why Daisy and I have given and continue to give our lives to worldwide gospel crusades. Why we've consistently done everything we can, using every tool for evangelism available to reach the unreached. This is why we've led this ministry in sponsoring many thousands of national preachers as gospel messengers among the unchurched masses. This is why we publish hundreds of tons of gospel literature in 132 languages and dialects. This is why we produce films and audio or video tapes in over 60 major languages as tools for soul winners and for release through mass media. This is why we've witnessed the enormous growth of this world ministry. We simply share the gospel with people. This is why we stay on the go. This is the reason for every outreach of this ministry and why we encourage faithful Christians to be partners with us. By sharing in these outreaches, our partners become soul winners with us among these forgotten ones, and they share the rewards just as much as those who go to the front lines. We are people who have received word from the Lord. We are giving warning to flee from the wrath to come. In the words of the Apostle Paul, woe unto us if we preach not the gospel. We don't want the blood of the unconverted on our hands, either at home or abroad, so we choose to be soul winners.
It's up to us.
We don't pretend that we alone can win the world to Christ, but we're involved in evangelism as though God's plan depended on us alone. If we can't win everyone, we shall certainly win some, and we shall minister as though the reaping depended entirely on us. A sophisticated businesswoman of prominence who was touring our world headquarters in Tulsa, Oklahoma, requested to see me and was therefore welcomed into our office. She was inquisitive and intelligent. I responded to her probings, and then she gave me a final sizing up with these words: "Dr. Osborn, you seem to be very wrapped up in what you call world evangelism. Do you think your activities alone will win the whole world to Christ?" Responding to her question, I said, "No, madam, but we intend to be involved as though the entire opportunity was entrusted to us." She was pleased and became a partner with us in soul winning. We're soul winners because we've taken God's word seriously. We don't want the blood of the unconverted to ever be required at our hands. It's as simple as that. In my estimation, the most important opportunity in the life of any Christian, not just ministers, but all Christians, is to witness to the unconverted. Christ only reaches them through men and women in whom he lives. Soul winning is not a pastime or a hobby. Soul winning is Christianity in action every day. As soon as we're saved, we can share Christ with others. We're his voice, his mouthpiece. If we're silent, our Christ is silenced. He can only speak through us. This is not something we do when it's convenient. Soul winning is our number one priority in life, our life's greatest opportunity. Wouldn't it be wonderful if soul winning became the major theme of every Bible school, every youth group, every Sunday school, every Bible conference and convention? Christians are successful in every conceivable art and trade or profession. They can also be successful in soul winning because this is the number one priority of every believer. More of them would succeed at this if more were taught that they as individuals are Christ's body and that Christ only ministers and speaks through the body in which he dwells, the believer. Spread across the east stone wall of the lobby of our world headquarters in Tulsa is a beautiful map of the world. Positioned to the right and left of the map in metal letters are these words: one way, Jesus; one job, evangelism. The attention of all visitors is focused on this motto to impress upon them the fact that this is a trans-world ministry. When God loved, he loved a world. When he gave his son, he did it for a world. When Christ died, he died for a world. God's vision is a world vision. Our vision is like his.
Measure the vision.
Many people are localized in their vision. They see their community. They think of their church or denomination, but they have no interest beyond that. Others have a broader vision, spreading out to their state or province or tribe. They're concerned with evangelizing that area, but they don't feel responsible beyond those limits. Still others see their whole country and will give and pray for the evangelization of their own nation. But even they are local in their vision. They're what we call nationalistic in their soul-winning interests. There are others who have an even broader vision that reaches out to their continent. They're interested in continental evangelism and will make any sacrifice to reach their continent. But even they are localized. Then there are those Christians who have God's vision, a world vision. I call it a John 3:16 vision. They see Europe, Asia, Africa, North and South America, Australia, the island nations, all the world, every creature. They have a trans-world vision. Why, with jet aircraft, television, and satellite communications, we live on a small, crowded planet. As Christians, our vision can be a world vision, Racial and political barriers are as foreign to God's plan as denominational and sectarian walls ever were. Christians no longer ask what church one belongs to or what creed one ascribes to. They ask, do you know Jesus Christ, the Son of God, as your personal Savior and Lord? Many times we've boarded a plane, soared off the runway of some intercontinental airport, climbed to a great altitude, and looked down upon the vast countryside as we flew across nations, then continents, then oceans and islands, then more nations. As I've looked down from such heights, I've pondered the soul winners we had left behind who had been localized in their vision, that is, until we had come. They had been limited by their attitudes, culture, or religious philosophy, or their denomination, or club, or society. They had not looked or reached beyond the borders of their city, or area, or nation. They had not traveled or expanded their world by reading. After our ministry, however, they had gotten God's viewpoint of their world. Their vision was no longer localized. They had become concerned for the whole world. As a result of our seminars, we know of Africans engaged in evangelism in China, of South Americans going to win souls in Alaska, of Indonesians reaching the lost in Europe, of Asians ministering in the Caribbean. The light which God has imparted to us when He gave us eternal life can shine in dark places all across the world as we share God's vision and understand the basic truth of Christianity, that we are Christ's body today. We are the vessels through which He reaches His world. I've often said today we travel to Africa or China as easy as we used to get in a car and drive to Alabama or to Missouri. Another vital phase of our motto on the lobby wall of our world headquarters is, around the clock, around the world.
Probe the priorities.
We show by our actions what we feel is most important. If trans world soul winning is our priority, then we'll give it first place. This is why most of our crusades are conducted overseas. It's why most of our literature is published in languages for the peoples afar. It's why most of our funds are used abroad. It's why most of our evangelism projects are geared for the unreached. It's why most of our films and tapes and cassettes and other tools are designed for soul winning in other lands and for mass media abroad. We practice what we preach. World evangelism is top priority for Daisy and me. It's our number one choice, the ministry nearest God's heart, the one thing Christ authorized every believer to share in. When it's your top priority, you invest more in that than in anything else. When it's your top priority, you allot more of your time to it than to anything else. More of your energies, your plans, your efforts, your thoughts, your money, your very life. World evangelism is top priority for us because it's the one way we can make sure that the blood of the unconverted will never be required at our hands. I say this is top priority for us because we take it in a personal sense and because Christ includes every Christian, every born-again child of God in His Great Commission. It does no good to outline a fine doctrine or theory or proposition unless it's personally expressed in a lifestyle.
The best missionary program.
I lectured on investing for evangelism overseas in a certain church. Afterwards, the pastor took me aside and said, "Dr. Osborn, you've changed me today. I never perceived gospel work abroad as a personal opportunity in my life. I expected that to be done by our foreign personnel. I never realized that I could personally be a gospel messenger abroad, even though I never went overseas myself." And then he went on to say, "I never realized that I could invest to sponsor someone in my place or to send printed or recorded preachers on my behalf." Then he added, "I always had a great deal of pride in my denomination's missionary program. I felt it was the best, and I bragged about it to everybody. It was not what I was doing, but what my denomination was doing that I was proud of. I talked about our organization, our big program, our mission projects. I believed it was the best. But Dr. Osborn, he said, I confess to you today that I never personally made any investment in missions. I put a small gift in the offering, but that was about all. Now I see that if every member of my organization had done as I did, we would have no soul-winning program to talk about. It was a denominational project to me, not a personal ministry.
Our top priority is soul winning.
My friend, soul winning is not reserved for missionaries or preachers or evangelists. You and I can do it. It's our priority, our privilege, our opportunity, our life, our passion, our joy, our fulfillment, our reward. Christians have been inadvertently impressed that only professional clergy persons can serve as ministers. Who said that? Christ dwells in every believer. Every Christian is his witness. Every convert is his mouthpiece. Christ wants to speak through every believer who can talk and walk. We are his witnesses. Millions who will not listen to the clergy will hear a genuine personal witness from a consecrated layperson. With the tools we have available today, any Christian can be a successful and happy witness for Christ at home, in his own community, in her own area, or even overseas, abroad. Anyone can do it. Anyone who wants to be a tourist and travel can take a tape recorder, a cassette player, or a literature and witness anywhere in the world and have the joy of serving as Christ's mouthpiece, as his messenger, as his representative.
Tote a tool.
An old man wept as he grasped my hand. Showing me his battered old tape recorder, he said, "Dr. Osborn, you're my preacher. I carry you with me on tape from house to house, into hospitals, jails, and convalescent homes. I put you on that old machine and you preach for me." Tears were rolling down the old fellow's cheeks. He said, "Then I pray for the listeners, and they get saved, and they get healed. Oh, how glad I am to be a soul winner. Thank God, Dr. Osborn, in my autumn years of life, I've learned to win souls by what you've inspired me to do." Wasn't that terrific? Think what could be done if every believer would become a practical soul winner, a practical mouthpiece and representative for Jesus. Daisy and I consider it our top priority to do everything we can to win souls. We choose soul winning. We think soul winning. We dream about it. It's our passion, our zeal. It motivates us in life. As we yield our all to Christ who is in us, we find our greatest joy in witnessing of him because it's he who is at work within us. We keep remembering the extent to which God's love for us was proven. Romans 5, verse 5, his love is shed abroad in our hearts by the Holy Ghost, and we are inspired by the same passion that motivated him. It motivates us. Since our youth, we've dreamed of ways to witness for Christ. Those dreams became visions. Visions inspired us to pray. Faith put action to those prayers, and soon those dreams became living, pulsating realities in our lives.
If people could have read our minds.
Years ago, we sat in Dr. Oswald J. Smith's missionary convention in Toronto, Canada, and dreamed of sending national foot soldiers to the frontiers of evangelism to extend the gospel to the regions beyond. If people could have read our minds that day as we sat in the People's Church, they might have mocked us as youthful, emotional visionaries. Other ministers listened to that tall, white-haired, aristocratic missionary spokesman, Oswald J. Smith, as he shared the opportunity of world evangelism. They were impressed. They made notes on statistics that he gave. They admired his vision, but few did anything about it. However, that stately gentleman was building an unquenchable fire in the souls of this young couple. A new vision was being conceived. Soon the program of national evangelism was born, and a new day dawned for sharing the gospel worldwide.
Pace setters with purpose.
Since that day, no leader abroad has had to say, "We would reach the unreached of our areas, but we have no funds." We have offered gospel leaders throughout the world funds to assist national qualified preachers whom they will send as full-time messengers to the unreached areas where there's no church, no gospel. We've already sponsored the gospel witness to over 130,000 previously unreached towns, tribes, areas, or villages. You heard me right. Over 130,000 such areas we have tabulated in our office files. For several years, at least one new national church per day has been opened and established in this way. It's become fully self-supporting so that our assistance could be withdrawn. That's nearly 400 new churches per year. You see, this is not theory. This principle works. Every arm of our world ministry is like that. First, it was a dream, then a vision, then prayer, then faith, and then action brought it forth as an outreach to millions of lost souls. The starting point, however, is to believe enough in the Scriptures and in the message of our Lord to dedicate oneself to share it with others. This motivates us to think and to dream of ways to win souls. There are innumerable ideas for soul winning which any believing Christian can implement. I believe that any sincere Christian can do things that can be really effective to win souls. All thinkers are creators. All achievers in life are dreamers, thinkers, planners, then doers.
Some criticize, some evangelize.
People who get ideas and get things done are usually criticized. Criticism accompanies success. Critics usually dog the trail of achievers. While some criticize, others evangelize. Those who succeed learn to never react to criticism. They adopt a positive attitude toward it. If we are reactionary, we'll fight back to justify ourselves. When we do, we're predestined to lose. We will fail. All those who are a success in life learn that criticism is really admiration in a subtle form. People usually only criticize the person who's out front. The failing, unsuccessful, non-achieving person commands no attention and therefore draws no opposition. Top priority for the successful person is to get the job done, whether others like it or not. We've learned that if we set high goals and achieve them, critics may ridicule us outwardly, but inwardly they're challenged to become stronger, more daring themselves. We've learned that criticism is a cheap commodity, always plentiful, and certainly undeserving of our reaction. There are two classes of people, you see, those with problems and those with solutions. We choose to be people with solutions. The person with solutions is the person in demand. Anybody can create problems, discuss them, analyze them, categorize them, but only the thinker, the creator, the achiever, the person of action has solutions. One of the best bits of advice we ever read was the statement, "Don't fight the problem, get on with the solution." We've not spent our time holding conferences on how to win in evangelism. We've been getting on with the solution, spreading the gospel. It's as simple as that. We've not been seeking out church leaders to discuss the problems which divide Christian workers. We've been getting on with the solution, cooperative soul winning. We've not only talked about the need for Christian literature, we've been supplying it. That's the solution. We've not spent our time analyzing the problems of reaching the unreached. We've been applying the solution, sponsoring an army of gospel messengers and providing tons of soul-winning tools. The enemies of the gospel have their eyes on the masses, but we do too. And we are doing something about it, something that works. That's our policy, action. Not conventions, but action. Not theories, but action. Not propositions, but solutions. Not problems, but answers. Not resolutions, but solutions. You can spend your life fighting the problems involved in soul winning. What the world needs is action, solutions, answers. It'll cost you nothing to sit in on group discussions, elaborating the problems of evangelism. That's why there are always people available for committees. You can always find plenty of people to analyze the woes and complexities of a problem. But the one who has solutions must pay dearly to serve humankind. Solutions do cost money. They cost lives. They demand dedication. Anyone can deliberate. We want to be people with ideas for success. The millions of unreached tribes people are a problem. We're not interested in theories or discussions. National evangelism is a solution that is working, so we get on with it. Our films are a solution. Millions are being reached with them, the same as with our recorded audio and video gospel messages, mobile evangelism units, and tons of literature. We're getting on with the solutions, not analyzing the problems.
Commercial tactics become talents.
While in Africa, a pastor there showed us a commercial company which had a fleet of 15 beautiful four-wheel drive vehicles equipped to show secular films. They constantly canvassed the villages, gathering large crowds, showing films, and advertising their products. Then they made their sales. Out among the villages, their company was realizing attractive profits. Some of the church leaders were bemoaning this problem. They were saying, just think, those villagers are being reached with products like beer and cigarettes and liquor and so forth, yet we're not reaching them with the gospel. I said to Daisy, it'll do no good to sit there and talk with those church leaders about that problem. We can provide a solution. Our new trans-world mobile evangelism crusade was born out of that meeting. We began to provide completely equipped mobile evangelism units for active soul-winning missions who were going out after the unreached. Since then, we've shipped overseas more than 100 large mobile units equipped with every tool we produce in the language of the area, plus at least 1 million tracts for each mobile unit. That is a solution, a practical solution. The commercial world is doing it, and we are too. The point is, we are doing it. We're not just talking about it. I would rather be placing my reputation on the block, doing something about evangelism, about soul winning, sending beautiful van units to Christians engaged in evangelism in developing nations, than sitting at home criticizing a program to reach the unreached.
Whose opinion counts most?
A famous statesman once said, "It's not the critic who counts, not the one who points out how the strong person stumbled, or where the doer of deeds could have done better. The credit belongs to the one who is actually in the arena, in action, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who errs and comes short again and again, but who is spent in a worthy cause, who knows the triumph of high achievement, who, if he or she fails, at least fails while daring greatly." Yes, criticism and the inept persons who replenish it abound. But solutions and the rare people who beget and apply them are valuable and they're scarce. Critics come and go, rise and fall, but problem solvers are the pillars of society. It's not enough to bewail the sinfulness of this generation. You and I have the solution. We are Christian witnesses. We are soul winners. You can equip yourself with a supply of good gospel literature. Carry it with you and distribute it to people. Get some good gospel audio cassettes. Invest a small amount and get yourself a cassette player. Then go out where the people are. Be a witness for Christ. Many Christian writers are producing excellent books, cassettes, and other tools for soul winners. Request a list of books, audio and video cassettes, films, and our series of 18 special gospel tracts. They're available in many languages and have been proven effective worldwide. We've produced these tools for soul winners to help them to be more successful. As 1 Corinthians chapter 3, verse 9 says, we are laborers together with God. We are soul winners because we do not want the blood of sinners required at our hands.
Seed as you breed.
After you discover the joy of soul winning in your own area or nation, plant some of the money God's entrusted you with to sponsor some tools for soul winners overseas. You can even sponsor a dozen audio cassette tapes in any of more than 60 major languages for a national Christian worker to use in village evangelism, exactly as you learn to do at home among your own people. That way, you'll be involved in evangelism abroad and will share the reward for every soul won by that national Christian witness. Sponsor a quantity of literature for distribution in neglected villages. Anointed messages on cassettes, books, and tracts will always be effective. They never tire. They never change their message. They never argue or become immoral or compromise. They're among the best gospel messengers in the world. They'll go as your substitutes in your place, giving witness of Christ in your name. Whatever has blessed you can bless so many others abroad, and you'll share the reward for winning them to Christ. It's not enough to just think or talk or pray about it. Put action to your convictions. Do something today while the fire is burning. Never let it go out. Stoke it, act on it, and it'll blaze brighter. When you've dedicated yourself to this top priority, then, if the unconverted turn not from their sinfulness or from their sinful ways, they'll die in their iniquities. We can't help that. But you have delivered your soul. That's what God said.